lines of all the schedules and vendors for today and tomorrow. And this is the next video.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks, Amanda, for doing this also, by the way. So my name is Jessie, and welcome. Thank you for coming. Sorry, I'm already sweating. It's very hot here. Don't mind me. So this is Feminist Perspectives on DIY zine making and DIY blogging. A little bit about me to kind of explain my credentials. I started a blog like a year and a half ago called Aren't I a Woman, which is a play on a Sojourner Truth famous poem, but I sort of have been doing that. I try to update that like once every month, and I tend to sort of focus on like feminist issues or use a feminist perspective to talk about a lot of social issues. And then I just recently did my first zine, which I do have here with me if anyone wants to see it, and that is sort of a compilation of personal narratives of different women that struggle from mental health issues, and so it's just their experiences in their own words. So I put that together. I have that here if anyone's interested. And so I'll kind of dive right in and talk to you a little bit about DIY culture and feminism, and how I think the two really relate and can be very crucial to the promoting of feminist rhetoric in a patriarchal society. So we're kind of talking about like the public sphere, which this is a perfect example of what the public sphere is. It's an area in social life where individuals can come together to freely discuss and identify societal problems, and through that discussion influence political action. So when we're talking about the public sphere, it sort of becomes political in nature, and I think that's something to sort of know, because it is different in the private sphere, our personal relationships with one another when it comes to gender and sex and race. So we're kind of talking specifically about the public sphere. And so within a patriarchal system, women sort of automatically have this diminished agency in regards to access to the public sphere. And agency just meaning the capacity of individuals to act independently, basically, to make your own free choices. And so there's a lack of attention in mainstream press about a lot of these, issues. Anything that's considered feminist, or any of these anti-sexist, classist, racist issues. That type of theory or political framework and ideology is not. You're not going to see that on CNN. These are not necessarily issues or perspectives that are perpetuated in a patriarchal mass media. So that kind of just creates the inherent problem. How do we create a space in the public sphere to discuss, women's issues? And just a really brief aside, even though it's feminist perspectives, I'm a really big proponent of the intersectionality thesis, which is, you have to consider class issues, race issues, and sex issues sort of all together, and you can't really ever talk about one without the others. And so I just kind of want to put that out there and let you guys know that. And you can even see that sort of in early stages of feminism, when originally it was kind of middle-class white women tended to dominate feminist rhetoric. And so I just like to kind of put that out there, even though we're using the term feminism, I like to think of it more as just like anti-oppression, basically. So this is where DIY zine making comes in, and it can sort of really provide women great access to the public sphere to say these types of things that, we don't really get the chance or opportunity to say. I'm going to read a quote by Bell Hooks, who is a really great cultural critic. She has a great book called Feminism is for Everyone, and I really encourage anyone to pick it up and read it if you're interested, because she's really intelligent and just mind-blowing, but it really simplifies what feminism is, and I think it really helps sort of attack the misnomers about feminism and about how feminism is like this anti-male movement, which is just so, so kind of far from reality. So Bell Hooks says, at first feminist theory was made available by word of mouth or in cheaply put together newsletters and pamphlets. The development she goes on to say that producing a body of feminist literature was one of the most powerful and successful interventions of contemporary feminism. So she doesn't explicitly say DIY zine making, right? But that's exactly what she's talking about. You know, cheaply put together newsletters and pamphlets become a really great way to allow feminists to put their word out there and take a part of the public sphere that no one else is giving them access to. It's kind of like a way of bucking the system almost, you know, and saying like, well, if you're not going to give me that opportunity, this is my way of taking it, you know. And it's just really important to note, like, it lets women have control over all modes of production, you know, distributing content, and I think that's something that we just don't see a lot of. And so I think it's a really powerful way for women to take that opportunity, you know, and not have to rely on the patriarchal mass media to sort of tell us what the experience of being a woman is. I think it's just really important for women to start telling their own life experiences in their own words. And I think just zine making in general can be a really cool way to do that. And then I have another example, kind of how this DIY zine making can really make a change in the world, especially if you're kind of coming from like a revolutionary standpoint. There's a man named David Walker, and he was a freedman in the North during the period of American enslavement. And he wrote this, he self-published this pamphlet called David Walker's Appeal. And the pamphlet basically called for slaves to revolt against their masters, and was, you know, written to incite insurrection, which clearly would not be something you could just run around and shout on the streets like in that time. That is, you know, something that would have been needed to be quelled very quickly, and you would have to find like really creative ways of promoting that that idea. And so what he did was he met with like sympathetic sailors and ship captains, and they would sew his David Walker's Appeal, the little pamphlet, into these like secret jacket pockets, and so the sailors would go port to the southern ports, and then that's how they would secretly spread these little pamphlets that he had made. That was saying, you know, it was basically saying like, kill your masters, you know. So that's a pretty powerful thing when you think about it. That one man just wrote this little pamphlet and then, you know, secretly sewed it into people's clothing, and this information was like spread like that throughout the South. And I know I'm running out of time, so I'm